Hi, I'm Dave Wurzel, and you're watching PHTV4 Spotlight. And today we're at Palos Heights Public Library. We're visiting with Janine Kakmar, who is the head of public services. Janine and her staff have been working on a special program, something the like of which they have not done before. It involves a New York Times best-selling author doing a virtual program. Hi, Janine. Thank you for joining us today. You want to tell us about this special virtual program coming up?
I do. Well, first of all, thanks for coming to the library, visiting us here today. Yes, we do have an exciting program coming up on Wednesday, October 27th. We have New York Times bestselling author Chris Bohjalian will be here. Yeah, he's an author of over 21 books. He's 3 of them which have been made into movies, some on HBO, The Flight Attendant, if you guys remember that one. It was quite a thriller. But we're super excited to have him here in a virtual capacity.
That is amazing. I mean, partly 2 questions here. How did you come up with the idea for, this type of program, this special program, and obviously landing a New York Times bestselling author? We're talking about a big name person here.
Right. And yeah, for a library of our size, of our community, this is a very unusual thing. Programming is what I do at the library. Every year, especially like pre-COVID, we would try to get a New York Times bestselling author to come to our community. We would work with community organizations like the Palos Fine Arts, and we would have Palos Reads, and we've had in the past New York Times bestselling author Lisa See come into town, Melanie Benjamin, many others. But this one's a bit different because it's a virtual program, and virtual programs are what we do at the library now, being in the pandemic era, so to speak. So we are running only virtual programs, but one of the benefits of virtual programs is that your audience you can reach a much, much greater audience.
So, you mentioned several of his works, and this is a very big name author. Maybe, how this author, how do you choose an author, and how do we get an author like this, especially one so big?
Yeah, good question. A lot of the times it has to do with is your favorite author, do they have a new book out? Well, he has a new book that's been out. It was introduced back in April. And it's just a matter of availability.
The Hour of the Witch?
The book is The Hour of the Witch by Chris Bohjalian. So there's a lot of different factors. And that one being, he had a new book. I love his stories. I love his novels. He does thrillers. He does historical fiction. And this particular book is a historical thriller set in 1662, based on a real-life incident of the first divorce case in North America, based on, brutality and violence in a marriage. So it's his books are always very timely. They always have some kind of theme that's timely to what's going on now. He just had his book before this one was The Red Lotus, and that was, he wrote that in 2019, but it was about a pandemic, so he was a little bit ahead of the curve there. But his books always seem to be timely, and they're so well written, and really all of them are page turners. You just want to get through them. So he's just a great kind of author. I don't know if I answered your question or not.
No, you did. And it sounds good. This is somebody I'd definitely like to hear talk, especially, the type of stories he writes, including the timeliness of them. How about, so it's a virtual program, let's talk about the format. It's not like going into an auditorium or a theater or a space. We have a virtual program with the New York Times bestselling author. So what will that look like? What type of presentation will we see?
Okay, so for those of you who've never done a virtual program, you would go to the library's website and you go to our events calendar just like you would with the regular programs, and you need to register for this program because then you get a link. And that link when you click on that link, it'll open up a screen on Zoom, and that's where you're going to see the author, Chris Bohjalian, and myself coming onto your screen, and I'll be interviewing him. Now, our audience, we reach a much greater audience. And one of your other questions earlier was, how do we, get this kind of author? Well, these authors can be very expensive. This can be a very expensive event.
Our library couldn't afford this author by themselves, right? So we're starting to talk about that. Who is the program available to, and how do you make this available based on the type of author and the expense involved.
Right. So because of expenses that are involved, we knew that we'd have to work with other people to bring the cost down. So what we've done in this, and what we're able to do as a virtual program, is open up this program to all the other libraries in the state of Illinois. So anybody who wants to join in on this program, and they will purchase seats for their own patrons, and that will help knock the cost down. And we actually had a huge response because, of course, he's Chris Bohjalian, and he's got a new book, and it's coming out, it's a very timely topic around this time of year. So we're able to get 127 libraries join us. We have over 4,300 seats sold for this event. And it's an incredible response from all the libraries around the state. Libraries of all sizes. So you have the huge libraries, you have the very small, tiny rural libraries who'd never have a chance to have a New York Times bestselling author do a program at their library. But working together as what we call a virtual program consortium, we're able to spread the cost out and share the event with everybody who's in all the libraries who are interested and able to do that.
No, that sounds amazing, especially when you mentioned the number 127 libraries around the state of Illinois. That's incredible, all over the state. Can you throw? I mean, are we talking like Southern Illinois, yes. Northwest corner,
Carbondale, down south? Some of these libraries I've never heard of. I had to look up on the map to see where they were. But they're rural. Some of them are suburban. Some of them are huge cities. Schaumburg and places up north or whatever. But everybody is so excited to be able to have this to work together. So it's really a win-win situation when we do this. It's a win-win for the communities that they get to have this kind of a program. It's a win-win for libraries that we get to share the expense. It's a win-win for Chris Bohjalian, who gets to share his books with over 4,300 people in this one event. So.
It is amazing when you think about, like you said, that here's a chance for a small library somewhere, or maybe even a mid-size or a big library, the ability to see an author like this and, how they can be difficult to afford. So you've mentioned that, how many libraries you've got, over 4,000 people registered so far for this. And, I mean, this sounds like a massive undertaking with so many libraries involved, with so many people signing up for an event. I guess my question is, how do you coordinate this? And then I guess as a follow-up, it is coming up at the end of October here, right? So how do you coordinate this event, and can people still sign up for it?
Yeah, those are all good questions. Yes, you can still sign up, so register now because you need a link to participate. But back to your first part of your question, it is a massive undertaking. We've never done anything on this scale before. We are a smaller library here in Palos Heights. And we have a small staff. So, but we have been very busy. We have Catherine Cross, who many of you know, who's at our public services desk, has made some incredible graphics and marketing and publicity that she sent out to all the libraries who want to participate. So we have like a uniform marketing program. Matt Matkowski, many of you know him at the desk as well. He's does a lot of our tech training and just a great guy. He did a lot of the behind the scenes with all the Excel files that we have to keep track of everything. Jesse, our director, many of you know Jesse, is keeping track of all the billing and all the registration forms that way. So it is really a lot of people working. It's a lot of work behind the scenes to get this thing out. Yeah.
It sounds like to make something this big happen, it's a true, team effort.
Oh, absolutely. And then there's tons of emails that come from all the libraries that are participating. They might just have questions. We send out massive emails sending out FAQs and how this program is going to work. But, they might have questions. And so a lot of emails and follow-up phone calls and that kind of thing. I just talked to a director down in 4-Star Public Library. I'm not sure where that's at, but she had a question yesterday. I called her back yesterday and just to answer a few of her questions. And so there's a lot of interest, which is great. We love it, and we're happy to be able to help it. But it's a lot of work, yeah.
So, and you mentioned that you'll be interviewing the author. How about where are the questions coming from?
Well, we do have a fun little thing where we're offering to the public for questions for Chris. If you have questions and you're registered to attend, that you can send us questions to our email address. And, most of them I will be looking at as well.
Okay, I mean, this sounds truly, amazing. A chance to see an author like this. In Palos Heights Library, you guys are on the map for your programming. I think the surrounding area, Chicagoland area, I think Palos Heights is recognized, certainly within our community. The programming is recognized as exceptional.
We do have a following on our virtual programs. We do get people who routinely tune in from Arizona, out west, or New York, the state of New York. And they know they've put us on their calendar, and they will routinely join us for our program. So it's kind of fun to see that. We even at first had people tuning in from outside of the country, Canada, over in Europe. So it's kind of interesting.
A tremendous compliment to you and the staff and the program that you've put together here.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess, that kind of brings us to this last thing. How would you compare, I mean, this obviously is an exceptional program, even though you do an incredible job with programming here. How does this compare to other programs that you've done, and will we see more programs like this in the future, or, other types of this type of structure, organization?
Well, how it compares to other programs, we always strive to bring interesting, educational, entertaining programs to our community. That's really the goal when I work with programs here. What is it that will, enrich us in some way? That's what we have in common with this program. What's different about this program is the sheer scale of it. To reach, have 4,300 people registered for a program is completely unheard of before. We are very much in uncharted waters, and but we're excited. We're excited to work with the libraries that normally wouldn't be able to have this type of program. Small libraries, all the kinds. So we're thrilled to have 127 libraries on board. We're thrilled to be able to reach out through the entire state of Illinois and offer something that people may not get a chance to have. So will we see something like this in the future? I hope so. I hope that this works out, and in the end, and there's a lot of work and expenses that we have to take care of, but if everything works the way we plan, it will, and it should. So.
Well, good luck. I mean, this is exciting. Such an undertaking by the library, and then, producing such a wonderful program for our library, but also other libraries around the state. Good luck with it. This is truly great.
Right. So remember, you guys folks got to register for our Wednesday, October 27th program with Chris Bojalian. I'll be interviewing him. He'll be talking about his book, The Hour of the Witch. We do have several copies available at the library right now, so you can come check those out and read it beforehand. We do have a book discussion coming up on this on Tuesday, the Tuesday beforehand, so whatever that is. Check our event calendar. So you can join the book discussion on that prior to as well. So.
All right. Well, Janine, thank you very much for taking the time to sit down with us.
Well, thank you, Dave, for taking the time to be here. We're happy that you guys came out to the library.
And thanks for putting this program together for our community and so many others. Good luck with it.
Thank you.
I'm Dave Wurzel. You've been watching Around Palos, and we've been at the Palos Heights Public Library, for a special program this fall. Thank you for watching, and good reading.